It's the sport that unites billions of people around the globe, the heartbeat of cities, the dream of nations. But did you know that the world's favorite sport was once a chaotic, lawless affair played by entire communities, from kicking heads to global superstardom? This is the untold story of how football became the king of sports. Well, before Messi, Ronaldo, and the World Cup, football had bizarre and ancient roots. It's hard to believe, but games similar to football were played over 2,000 years ago. In ancient China, a game called Kuju, meaning kick the ball, was part of military training during the Han Dynasty, 202 BC to 220 AD. Players had to kick a leather ball into a small net, and it sounds pretty close to modern football, right? But here's the twist. They could use any part of their body except their hands, just like today. In ancient Mesoamerica, the Mayans and Aztecs played a more intense ball game, often linked to rituals and religion. It wasn't just a game, but a symbolic battle of life and death, sometimes even ending in human sacrifices. And well, that's not your typical football match. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, the Greeks were playing episkairos, a more chaotic version that allowed both hands and feet, often resembling a mix between football and rugby. The Romans borrowed this and created harpastum, which involved a lot of running, passing, and, yes, some seriously aggressive tackles. In fact, one ancient account tells of a man killed by a ball while getting a shave in a barber shop. Yes, it was that intense. But wait, it wasn't just the Greeks and Romans. The indigenous Australians played a game called Martinkruk, where players also kicked a ball made from animal skin. The Middle Ages saw the rise of mob football in Europe, particularly in England. This was more like organized chaos. Large crowds, often entire villages, would try to move a ball to a designated spot, with minimal rules and no limit to the number of players. The ball was often an inflated pig's bladder or leather sack, and the goals could be several miles apart, sometimes landmarks like churches or manors. Players kicked, tackled, and sometimes used sticks, or even weapons, to get the ball to the other side. One thing that might blow your mind is just how violent these games could get. Matches could lead to serious injuries and even death. Coroners' records from the time mention fatalities, like a 1321 match in Cornwall where 39 people died during a football riot. That's right, 39 people! The violence got so out of hand that football was banned in many places by kings like Edward II in 1314. He even cited great noise and evils as reasons for the ban. But that didn't stop people from playing. Even with the risk of imprisonment, the game lived on underground. As the sport spread across Europe, it took on different forms in various regions. For instance, Italy had Calcio Storico, a mix of football and combat sports, while Ireland developed Gaelic football, which combined elements of football and rugby. What's mind-blowing is that the journey from these wild, unregulated games to the organized sport we love today wasn't easy. The birth of modern-day football began in 19th century England. A pivotal moment came in 1848, when students from Cambridge University met to create a standardized set of rules for their matches, which became known as the Cambridge Rules. These rules helped to shape what would eventually become association football, especially by banning rough practices like hacking, kicking opponents in the shins. Interestingly, there was a heated debate during these early discussions about whether rough tactics should be allowed. Some argued that banning such behaviors would take away from the manliness of the game, but thankfully a small majority sided with the idea of a cleaner, less violent game. The formation of the Football Association, FA, in 1863 marked another significant step. The FA was created to bring order to the chaos of different football rules across England. This moment is often considered the formal birth of modern football. Ebenezer Cobb Morley, often referred to as the father of football, was instrumental in leading the movement that codified the 13 original laws of the game. The FA's decision to distinguish football from rugby by banning the use of hands changed the course of the game forever. One fascinating fact is that the formation of early football clubs played a huge role in popularizing the game. Clubs like Sheffield FC, founded in 1857, and Notts County, established in 1862, were some of the earliest examples of football becoming more structured and community-driven. Football began to grow with the rise of industrialization, as workers in cities formed teams, leading to competitive matches between clubs. This also marked the birth of a spectator culture, as more people paid to watch matches. Another turning point was the legalization of professionalism in 1885. Prior to that, football was largely amateur, but the growing demand to watch matches made clubs realize they could make money by paying skilled players. This shifted football from a pastime to a professional sport, and in 1888, the first English match league was established with 12 teams. The league system became a model for other countries and transformed the sport into a massive commercial enterprise. What's mind-blowing is just how quickly the game spread across the globe. By the end of the 19th century, British sailors, traders, and workers had introduced the game to places as far as South America and Europe. The first ever international match took place in 1872 between England and Scotland in front of 4,000 spectators. This match ended in a draw, but it set the stage for a growing interest in international competitions. As football spread across the world, it evolved into a truly global phenomenon, bringing nations together in ways that few other activities could. The first big step in football's globalization was the creation of FIFA in 1904, with 7 European nations aiming to standardize the game. But what really accelerated its spread were international competitions, starting with the Olympics and culminating in the launch of the FIFA World Cup in 1930. During the early 20th century, football found fertile ground in South America. Countries like Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay quickly developed a deep love for the sport, and their teams became powerhouses on the world stage. Uruguay, for example, stunned the world by winning the first ever World Cup in 1930. Brazil would go on to become the most successful nation in World Cup history with 5 titles. World wars also had an impact on football's growth. While international competitions were put on hold during the wars, football was often played at military camps, helping spread it to places where it wasn't yet a major sport. After World War II, football became a way for countries to rebuild and regain pride, especially in Europe and South America. Nations like Italy, Spain, and Germany developed deep football traditions, while in South America, legends like Pelé and Maradona turned football into a religion. One of the most amazing facts is the sheer number of people football now connects. The 2018 World Cup reached 3.57 billion viewers globally, and the 2022 tournament in Qatar saw engagement soar to 5 billion, almost 2/3 of the world's population. That's more than any other sporting event in history. Football didn't just stay in Europe and South America, though. It quickly took root in Africa and Asia, where local leagues and national teams began gaining recognition. As more countries participated, FIFA expanded the World Cup format. By 2026, the tournament will have 48 teams, showing just how far football's global reach has grown. Well, technology and media have changed football in ways we couldn't have imagined. One of the most talked about changes is VAR, Video Assistant Referee, which helps referees make better decisions by reviewing key moments in the game. Some fans love it because it makes the game fairer, while others think it slows things down. But no one can deny that it's made football more precise. On the media side, football has become more global than ever. Billions of people around the world watch matches, and social media brings players closer to their fans. There's also goal line technology to avoid wrong calls, and teams now use data and advanced tech to improve tactics and player performance. But what will the future of football hold? How will new technologies like VAR and AI change the game even more? Could we see AI-powered robots training alongside players to help improve performance? Or will we see smart stadiums where fans can feel every kick through virtual reality? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you're a football fan, don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories about the beautiful game. See you in the next video.